Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It's Thursday night, and that means it's time for the ANZCAR Cup, and we are here at Richmond. Yes, a tricky short track for tonight's race. Should be fun indeed. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with thee, and joining me up here in the booth, as always, is Mr. Matthew Hunter. Matt, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, going good tonight, going good.
Great stuff. Let's get ready to get racing. We are just gridding up at the moment, and it is Andrew Dyson taking pole position ahead of Dwayne Burton's new face up at the front of the grid. Nice to see a newcomer up there. Row number 2, we've got Dave Douglas and Neil Pearson. Row number 3 sees Lachlan Urquio next to Shane Bowen. It's Brenton Henderson next to Alexander Sheridan on the 4th row. Row number 5 is Jai Schultz with Riley Curtis. Maddie Ray next to Norman Clark makes up our 6th row. Row number 7 is Phil Otto and Ben Henker. JCW, Josh Carroll and Daniel Hedderscheid make up an Atari row number 8. Tristan Koch, Ruben Phelps on the 9th row. Jamie Echoes, Derek Jacobs on row number 10, and Christopher Tomlin with Kobe Jordan rounding out our field here at Richmond. It is going to be a tough race out here as we are getting ready to go. Of course, 2 formation laps here on the short track. Just quickly glancing at the weather, it is 46 degrees track temperature tonight. It is going to be very, very hot on those tyres out there. 26 degrees air temperature, a little bit of wind in a southeasterly direction. The main thing is going to be tyre heat tonight, Matt.
It is indeed, and it is. Now, I'm just looking at a very curious thing straight away. Our pulse today, Andrew Dyson, is not there. I'm not sure if he's in the server or not, but he's not there. Douglas has moved up from 3rd to 1st. And the other one I see there not there is Derek Jacobs in 20th spot as well.
That is a shame. Interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on to see if they manage to get out onto track. Pace car is pulling in, and we're about to go green. It's going to be Burns and Douglas on the front row. Douglas on the inside goes, gets a nice launch, gets away smoothly ahead of the Cobalt racing car, and it's the casting couch up in the lead. Dyson, Jacobs and Jordan all looks like they are just exiting pit lane, so they've obviously had an issue and not been able to grid up, so that's a disastrous start of the race for that trio of cars as we get across the line for lap number 1, and it is Dave Douglas in the lead ahead of Dwayne Burns. Lachlan Urquio moving up quickly ahead of Neil Pearson. Brenton Henderson on the move on the inside lane, getting down underneath Shane Bowen and moving himself up into 5th position.
Yeah, and of course Neil Pearson is a defending race winner as well, so he'll be the one to keep an eye on, because he won the race earlier in the year when we were at Richmond. It's our 2nd trip to Richmond this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows what to do on this track, and is, well, you can't really discount the DPR boys because they have been absolutely on fire this season. Dyson and Pearson taking out the majority of wins this year. It's not been a straight flush though. They have had some competition and it's not all been plain sailing. So we'll see tonight if anybody can throw a spanner in the works there and get a good run. We have got all 22 cars out racing. Derek Jacobs though has lost a lap, but he is at least out on track. So some good news there for Jacobs getting out onto the oval.
Yeah, he just needs to make sure he stays only 1 lap down for the possibility of a caution and get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, look, possibility of a caution is pretty high at Richmond. Very easy to make a mistake here as one of the Cobalt cars does just that. In the background, I think it was Alexander Sheridan just getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn number 2. Getting his foot down on the throttle a little bit too early. Cost him some time. Meanwhile, up the front, Daniel Hedderscheid looking to, where am I? We are a little bit further down. Daniel Hedderscheid looking to make a move on Alexander Sheridan. Probably got multiple cars of the same colour out there. I was glancing at the wrong screen at the wrong time, but you can see Hedderscheid making the move in the 035 Matari, getting down the inside and looking to make that run, and he's just about got it done. Alexander Sheridan still just recovering from that little sideways motion. Rear tyres will have heated up very quickly from that.
Yeah, I jumped in and ran some laps earlier on this track just to get a bit of a feel of what it was, and yeah, turn 2 very, very tight, very easy to line up the tyres, and and lose the back of the car towards the wall on exit of turn 2. I think maybe Sheridan, that's what might have happened to Sheridan there before.
Yeah, it's one of the trickier things about a short track like this. If you've never had an opportunity to race one of these tracks before, they are very, very tricky. It's like racing on a really tight, twisty track. You've got to really get your foot on the throttle well through the exit of the corner, but the car is going to be fighting you all the way through. It is one of the trickier tracks to get right out there, Richmond. And if you can get it right, you can really, really get some good payoffs. And that's what's happening to Dave Douglas at the moment. He is getting a fairly healthy lead of 0.7 of a second over Dwayne Burns. Lachlan Urquio putting the pressure on Dwayne at the moment and seeing what he can do to race his way up towards the front of the grid. Not had the best result last couple of rounds as Neil Pearson looking to try and make the move on Lachlan there. Gets down the inside and moves himself up a spot now. And I wonder if Neil was just letting the tyres bed in a little bit slower just to take advantage of them in the last part of the stint.
Yeah, that was a good move by Neil there, just being nice and patient and just waiting to get the better run out of the corner exit to make the pass.
Side-by-side action at the top of the screen there, Jai Schultz and Joshua Carroll-Walden battling it out there as well. Plenty of action on the track at the moment, what we like to see. But Neil Pearson is starting to come alive now. Fastest car on track at the moment is the 62. And he is starting to smell some blood in the water and take advantage of those tyres being nice and warm now. Nice and up to temperature, nice and evenly cooked. And not worrying too much. We've got Phil Otto coming in the pit lane. He's got some damage to the right front as he's taken a bit of a lick to the wall. Racing against Tristan Koch. He just took a big hit in the wall. And unfortunately, Ruben Phelps got caught up behind him. Let's see the replay here, side by side. Coming through the corner. Just got up a little bit high for Phil. Back end steps out and just snaps it up into the wall.
Yeah, that turn 2, I think, that turn 2 exit just sort of lit it up there a little bit. Yeah, pretty frustrating, that one.
Yeah, he'll be absolutely dirty with himself after a really good result last time out for Phil. Just a shame it's going to be an early finish tonight.
It is, yeah. And Ruben just had to really check up to make sure he didn't get too much damage out of that. So that sort of dropped him down as well. And I think Phil has parked it from that damage.
Yeah, some really heavy damage there. And, look, good job for not causing a caution, but it also is painful for when you have an accident like that because there's no caution flag. You can't really get away with it. Up the front, Neil Pearson makes the move as Joshua Carroll and does the same thing. Two cars doing the same move, and they both make it stick, working their way up the field slowly but surely. Another man on the move, unsurprising to us all, I'm sure, is Mr. Andrew Dyson. He's up into P14. As he's just making a move on Tristan Koch there and gets himself up the field a little bit now, chasing down Norman Clark. So Dyson working his way from the back of the pack, and I wouldn't hesitate to say we'll see that car up towards the front come the end of the race.
I think so indeed. And yeah, it's the race. Lockie has a big tank slapper as well, coming out of the exit of turn 2. Manages to catch it. It was fortunate that we put the camera on him at that time. Interesting to see though, you're starting to see the experienced drivers work their way up to the front. Pearson, JCW, Carroll Warden, they sort of take it easy early on the stint just to get the tyres sort of settled in a little bit, get a bit of an idea what's underneath them, and then now they're slowly making their way up to the front.
Yeah, it really makes a difference, and it's what we talk about, short and long pace, as Neil Pearson is just getting past Derek Jacobs at the moment as he falls down a second lap there, unfortunately, for Derek. That is not what you want to see. Unfortunately, no early cautions helping him out tonight. But
and Jordan's in danger of going down that lap as well.
Yeah, another one of those cars that had to start from pit lane, and you just see how quickly it happens. And look, on a short track like this, it does not take long for that lead pack to catch you. You'll try your best to keep it up in front of those leaders, but they have got some really good pace at the moment and are very much on fire.
Yeah, Dave's really putting in some good laps for sure at the moment. Neil is slowly closing the gap to him though.
Yeah, eating away at it for sure. But you know, one of the things is once they start to catch some laps, once they start to lap a few cars, it just means you're sort of not always on the best part of the racetrack, and that can start costing you with tyre wear and tyre life. Just looking back a little bit, Daniel Hedishire is making a move on Matty Ray in the SRM Mobile Breaker Mechanical Machine, and he makes his way through. But I'd say watch out for Matty Ray come towards the end of the stint. I get the feeling he's looking at a little bit better long run pace than short run. Of course, one of the big things on in a race like this, on a track like this, is your long and your short run pace. And you see some people have really, really good short run pace. They're able to really get the car alive in the early stages, get a good qualifying time, get some really good laps after the pace car pulls it in. But then they start to struggle once you get about 20, 25 laps into the stint, and then just start falling a little bit further back into the grasp of those people that have the good long run pace. They're just able to keep their tyres alive a little bit more, and then they're able to take advantage of that and just get better pace in the latter stages of the race. And that really can be a great skill to have up your sleeve. Of course, if you can mix both of them and make them work, then that is even better.
It is indeed. It's always hard with these tracks. You got to have the discipline not to overdrive at those entries into the corner. You don't really want to slide that right front tyre at all, because it gets gets the heat into that right front tyre, and if you do that over and over again, it gets a little bit too hot and doesn't work quite so well. And yeah, you go into the corner and you just don't have that front grip that you want, and you push up the track, and then they have drivers that are looking after their tyres can come and catch you.
Yeah, it is a really, really crucial skill to have. We're seeing Neil Pearson doing that right now. And it's sort of an odd thing as well. You sort of, if you're sort of not used to racing, as Dave has a big old blink there. And
that
Neil Pearson's taking advantage of that right now as he goes down the inside and moves himself up into the lead. But one of the things is not overdriving the car, like you said, Matt. You know, it's almost like you're not turning the steering wheel. You try not to turn the steering wheel too much. You maybe turn it by about 15 degrees, you know, and you sort of use the accelerator and the brake to turn the car. And that really saves the tyres and just gives you an extra bit of speed. And that's where you see the drivers come alive at this stage of the race, the ones that are able to keep the sort of tyres alive by driving it with the brake and the accelerator pedal rather than the steering wheel, because the tyres are going to respect that a lot more. Shane Bowen and Matty Ray having a good battle on track at the moment. Bowen just getting an advantage, but he has taken a little lick to the front of that car. Bowen has had a bit of a moment in the Cobalt Racing entry, and that happened a couple of laps ago actually. Made a little bit of contact with Kobe Jordan as they were lapping him, and that cost Bowen the position, has given Matty Ray the opportunity to try and make the move. A little bit of hip and shoulder action as well back there, so it's starting to heat up down in the pack.
Yeah, it's always hard trying to get around that lap traffic.
It cuts a bit of the race course off that you sort of ideally would love to have. And it's a crucial thing on a track like this, is if you get sort of caught up too high or caught too low, it can really overheat the tyres and give you a really, really tricky race car to race in, as we see Andrew Dyson making a move on Riley Curtis there.
Yeah, he's moved on to the back of the top 10 now. Sitting there in 11th.
Chipping away at the field as this race goes on. We are 32 laps into the race, 118 remaining here tonight.
So in terms of fuel, when I had a little bit of a run around before 100% full tank, it was about 130 laps, I think. So if it goes green, I think they'll need at least one pit stop. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just split it in half.
Yeah, 75% of the tank we run, so probably worth coming in halfway just to get the tyres done as well. I mean, the sort of the low profile cup tyres are not as they don't fall off the cliff as much as some of the other series out there, but they still will take a hammering around a track like this. So if you can extend the tyre life a little bit, then you will want to take advantage of that. But you don't want to be stuck out too long, of course, on those old tyres. But if you catch a lucky pit, if you catch a lucky caution even, you could easily find yourself up a few positions, as we're seeing all the action unfolding here down in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Andrew Dyson making a move through, moving up. Jai Schultz making a move as well. Plenty of action here on track. We're seeing Cobalt Racing of Shane Bowen up there as well, really fighting it out with those guys.
Yeah, Dyson's just methodically working his way through, isn't he? He's got the superior pace, but he's been patient with it, and he's not bumping into people and shoving them out of the way and saying, "Hey, I'm faster than you, get out of my way." He's just doing it very nice and respectfully and working his way through.
Yeah, he's doing really keeping the pace up as well, and it's one of the tricky things when you're racing against him. Sometimes you sort of go, "Oh yeah, he'll burn his tyres out soon," and he never seems to do it. He's very good at keeping the tyres alive, but as he's racing through all of these cars, he is losing time to the leaders. But as I say that, he has just set an absolute blistering lap time compared to the rest of the field at 23.5. One of the fastest cars on track at the moment. So he is really, really going for it, and he's definitely got some speed left in that car. So keep an eye out for that one as he's looking to make a move on. Jai Schultz goes down the inside there, and he's going to hold that line. JCW is sort of keeping in front of them, but Jai's just having to lift out a little bit, and that's giving Dyson the position. So he moves up to 8th.
Yeah, another good pass there, just working his way through. Jai didn't really make it that hard for him though, didn't want to fight it, so yeah, not worth sort of fighting too hard this early in the race for it.
It's a big thing of racing and in this style of racing, it is knowing who you're racing against. And as much as you want to beat Dyson, sometimes you go, yep, he's not really my main race rival today. I'll see how that one goes. Ruben Phelps, meanwhile, is really eating it up as they're 3 wide for a couple of moments back in the pack, and they are going hell for leather back here. There's plenty of action going on throughout the field at the moment. Plenty of stuff going on throughout the laps as JCW gets a little bit tight and loses a position there as well. So we're trying to keep an eye on all the action, keeping our heads on a swivel, but it is always tricky to catch it.
It is. It looks like the tyres have sort of reached a bit of a point where things are starting to get a bit uncomfortable for drivers.
I've definitely seen a few drivers just fall off the cliff, and it's almost like the tyres have switched off and just stopped working. That's what it feels like when the tyres just stop doing what you need them to do in a race car. It's a horrible feeling when they lose all of their grip and purchase, and you're just sort of left driving around helplessly. There's a little bit of contact between Maddie Ray and JCW there on the exit of the corner. Carol Walden does a good job of keeping the car in the right direction, but loses time again. And it seems like the 35 is really, really struggling for pace at the moment. I reckon his tyres have just really dropped off the cliff.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Phelps charging his way through the field as well, because after that, where he had to check up, he was way down the order, and he didn't make progress up the order that quick, and I thought, well, he might be struggling a little bit, but he's either been deliberately laying back, saving those tyres, or he's worked something out that suits him, because he's now really working his way up. He's going to try and pass the 35 for second spot here, after 10th spot here. It's all pretty close in the corner there. They get away with it.
Really leaning on each other there. They were absolutely not willing to give up an inch or anything through the corners. Great to see. They kept the racing going there. They kept themselves in a good position. Up the front, Dwayne Burns has managed to make himself up into P2. Driver that is really having a good night out there in the Cobalt racing car. Dwayne Burns is really, really doing a great job of keeping this car on some good pace at the moment, and got himself up into P2. trying to chase down Mr. Neil Pearson, who's now got a 1.4 second lead in front.
It's good to see Burns having a good run tonight. Field's getting pretty spread out now. Koch and Tomlin will be in danger of going a lap down. I think Neil's just roaming up on the back one now.
Yeah, he is looming behind him, much like a horror movie sort of icon, just coming out there and just creeping his way through the back of the field now and putting the lap down as it goes down the inside of the 550 of Tristan Koch and looks to make up a position. Tristan just having a moment, I think, in a few laps ago and just losing a couple of positions, unfortunately. Not having the best pace out there tonight, but still keeping himself in the race at least. It's one thing to watch out for Tristan Koch is one of those drivers that will come at the end of the race tends to really be solid and keep the car sort of relatively out of trouble. He could well find himself back up into a stronger finishing position come the final few stages. 49 laps in. It's going to be 50 laps in very shortly. We're going to have 100 to go here tonight at Richmond. And, it's been touch wood, fingers crossed, and trying not to put any curses or any mockers on people. It's been very clean out there tonight.
It has. It's been pretty calm for the most part. Pretty calm and collected. I think everyone's sort of just working their way through to that pit stop, and then they'll make their changes and sort of maybe put the hammer down a bit more.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well, is the fact that we have not had anybody come down the lane for a change. So there are a few people that are able to do a few little swoops and swaps to the car and change a couple of bits on there as well. And that could be crucial. Daniel Hederscheid making a move up into P4 now. He's up 12 positions so far in this race. He's having a very solid run out there and working his way through the field nicely. Just moved up on Lachlan Acquio. So very, very nice work there from Daniel Hederscheid. And just been quietly doing that as well, sort of not really ruffling too many feathers, just sort of methodically working his way up the field. And he is now looking to bang on the top three's door.
Yeah, he needs a bit of a solid mistake-free run tonight, doesn't he, really? Obviously, he had that bit of a mistake at the start of last week with the incorrect gear shift, but he just kind of needs a good solid run, bank some good points, so it could be one of those nights for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a big thing, is having that sort of good run, a solid finish and a solid run here tonight will be really, really good for the psyche of Daniel Hederscheid as well, just coming out of that big incident last time out with that just incorrect gear shift. It can just sort of knock your confidence a little bit, and tonight could be a really good opportunity for him to get back in the saddle and get some good points here tonight.
They need to start having a bit of a think as well as preparing themselves. I mean, we're in race 22 of the 36, so we've got just doing the quick maths on my fingers here, so 23, 24, 25, 26. We've got 4 more races till the chase starts, so you kind of want to start thinking about ramping up your form and getting ready for when that chase starts in 4 or 5 races time, and
Absolutely.
being right at the top of your game for those 10 races.
Oh, contact between Alexander Sheridan and JCW almost brings out the caution. They just managed to get away and keep the car running in the right direction, but I think Sheridan might come down the lane. Nope, he's going to stick it out. Bit of a moment between those cars. I thought that was going to be the first caution of the night, but great job there to keep the car pointing in the right direction and not bringing out the dreaded yellow flag. Just see the tail end of it there. So let's see what happened here between the 35, and just looks like the door closed a little bit quicker than Sheridan was expecting there, and just got caught with that one.
Yeah, it almost looked like JCW was really diming in the corner. He's up high there, and then cutting down because he was letting Norman through, and then JC's just come down sort of on a diamond and didn't realise that Sheridan was there coming up. Good save from Sheridan though.
Yeah, it looks like he's got relatively unscathed from that accident, so car's not looking damaged. It might have just hurt the tyres a little bit, but still trucking along. Riley Curtis pulling it into pit lane. We've had Kobe Jordan come down the lane as well, so we're starting to see some early stops here, and this could work out in your favour if we get a late caution. Of course, they could also be making it from here on fuel as well, so coming in early for the stop rather than leaving it till later.
That's what I was thinking as well. I think probably at the critical lap now, so probably realise they can make it all the distance home now. So probably grab your tyres, grab your fuel now. And if there's cautions near the end of the race, you can keep your track position and stay up there.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those things coming in this sort of early is it can really give you a huge leap of track position as all the rest of the field will come down the lane much later, of course, and they'll have lost a bit of time to your fresh tyres. And then a late caution could really find yourself getting a lot of track position in a situation like that. So it's a little bit of a risk, but it could very much pay off. So we'll keep an eye on those cars running the alternate strategy here tonight and see how that one pays off, of course. And well, up the front, it's still chugging along, but we've got a race for the lead now as Dwayne Burns makes a move on Neil Pearson, getting down the inside. And Dwayne Burns has done a great job of keeping those tyres alive in this stint. Really seems to be at home here at Richmond.
It does. It seems to have a bit of long run pace than Neil at the moment, which is good.
And
it's going to be 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Up ahead, there's 2 of his fellow teammates he's about to put a lap down. Sheridan and Bowen. Bowen and Sheridan, yeah. So he passes Bowen now. A whole bunch of Cobalt cars.
There's too many red cars on screen there. It was just just a sea of red out there. Odd to be seeing red cars at the front of the field. It doesn't happen very much these days. But look at Dave. He's getting back now as well. He's come up to pace and seems to be just a little bit faster at this stage of the race. And Daniel's right there too. So the race for the lead is really closing up. And you can't discount that 41, who is sitting just behind Daniel Hedershide now. So the top 5 cars separated by just under 2 seconds.
Yeah, Dyson's there too, isn't he? He's made up 8 seconds, I think he's made up pretty much. But if I was Burns, I'd just be telling his teammate just to don't make it too easy for the guys behind me. Don't anything.
Make it like we're racing you. But,
Yeah, just put the car in a convenient spot for me, if you can catch my drift.
I'll slip you $10 if you can give me a caution at the right time. That kind of thing. Just fair racing. It's good to see them out there. It's nice to see as well Cobalt having a good run here tonight, and your team to the ANZCAR series, and some fresh faces to the ANZCAR paddock as well, and they've been having some really solid performances, but this is probably the strongest run that they've had so far, with Dwayne Burns up in the lead and just behind Daniel Hedershide making a move for P3, getting down the inside of Dave Douglas. And look at Andrew Dyson just sticking to the rear spoiler, trying to get underneath there as well, trying to make the same move. Can't quite make it happen. He's thinking, I'm going to try the top line, I'm going to try the low line, but try every line I can. They are really, really racing hard at the moment, and we've got a mix of cars as well. Just seeing Christopher Tomlin coming back out on track on some fresh boots, leaders up there on some older boots as well. So this is where you could easily see caution creeping out, as you've got multiple different cars on lots of different strategies on track and lots of racing up the front of the field.
Yeah, it's getting a bit congested now, isn't it? This is pretty good. As you say, we've got lap cars on fresh tyres, we've got leaders on old tyres. It's pretty good. They're all doing a pretty good job of working their way through the traffic.
Yep, they are doing very fine work indeed. It gets a little bit close for comfort and you get a little bit tense out there, but you've got to have faith in all the drivers around you and just hope that you can make it work. And they're doing a good job at the moment, as Riley Curtis just has a little bit of a lock-up. Almost goes into the back of Andrew Dyson there, as he is sliding his way through on the fresh tyres, remember. So that's one of the other things we've got happening now is we've got lapped cars working their way back onto the lead lap on those fresher tyres, fighting for position as well as trying to get themselves back into the race. So we've got all kinds of action happening throughout the field now.
Yeah, Neil Pearson's become a bit of a cork in the bottle, hasn't he, really? Burns has skipped way ahead by 2 seconds now, and Hedderscheid's looking to make the pass on Pearson now. Dyson's looking just to follow through with that gap that's come through, and of course Riley's trying to get some of his laps back, so he wants to get through on those fresh tyres.
Yeah, it can be really difficult being stuck in those positions as we see the teammates getting close to each other up on the high line. Riley Curtis there, he is 2 laps down I think,
yeah.
at the moment. Yep, trying to get one of those laps back as soon as possible, trying to get his race run as well. Of course, when everybody else comes into the pit lane, Riley will jump a fair few of these cars, as you see him making the move now down on Daniel Hedderscheid. This is giving Dyson the opportunity to get down on the inside of Neil Pearson as well. And they swap position, and Dave's just sitting back there going, all right, boys, let's see what we can do here. Wouldn't be surprised to see some of the leaders popping in the lane shortly. We're about half race distance. In 1 lap's time, we will be exactly half race distance.
Yeah, Pearson and Douglas both getting loose off turn 2 there. Pearson got a fair chunk of the wall. I think if any one of these leaders is going to come in and pit, I would say it would have to be Neil Pearson. I think unless he's not really happy about how his long run pace is, and maybe he goes long this time so he can shorten up that second run. Because he might be thinking that next run, if it goes long, he'll lose the pace as well. Whew. Douglas is really kicking sideways out of turn 2 a bit there.
He's riding a bucking Bronco at the moment and keeping that car in the right direction, as well only Dave can do in those situations. He's done a good job of keeping up the pace in that car. Really, really close stuff though, and it can get really, really uncomfortable when you're racing in a car like that as well, because you're sort of going out there really, really flying as into the lane comes Burns. Looked like maybe Riley Curtis just had to check up a little bit there as the car was coming into the lane. So the leader's pitting now. So this could be the signal for everybody else. It's like lighting a signal flare. All the other drivers in the field will go, okay, leader's coming in. Might think about doing it soon as well, and see how this one goes. Of course, the longer these boys stick it out, the more real estate they have to make up at the end of the race, but they'll be on fresher tyres. So it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can make a really big gain by being on fresh tyres at the end, but sometimes you just don't have enough laps to close the gap. And then sometimes you can be up the front and sort of have the same thing happen, come in for those fresh tyres, and then you sort of struggle at the end because your tyres have dropped off and you can't defend. So lots and lots of little strategy calls coming out there. Neil Pearson just made contact with the wall, just having a little bit of a skim across the barrier. He's managed to keep it, get it back out and keep it relatively out of trouble. But that's cost Neil Pearson a lot of time. Again, he's just dropped a fair heap of time at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him pulling it in pit lane soon.
We see a bit of smoke on the track there from somebody. Not sure what that was, not showing any incident.
I think there's quite a few people locking up the tyres out there tonight and just having a little moment behind some of the other cars as well, as we see Ruben Phelps and Josh Carroll-Weldon back at it again. And that's I think that's lapping actually. That's how much time Ruben Phelps has made, as he's actually lapping JCW now, and we saw them battling for position not too long ago. Matty Ray pulling it into pit lane, and he's decided it's time to come down the lane and get some fresh boots. Meanwhile, leader Daniel Hedderscheid has got some close company for himself. He's got the orange DPR car right behind him, and seeing if he can get himself a little bonus point for a lap lead here and get that one at least secured in the early stages. But they are racing hard with each other at the moment on track. 68 laps to go here at Richmond.
Yeah, nice racing here. Dyson just having a poke of the car down, having a bit of a look, but just couldn't get the drive off the corner.
Neil Pearson finally deciding to pull it into the lane. So it'll be interesting to see here how much time he loses to Dwayne Burns, of course. Remember, Dwayne Burns came in from the lead of the race. He's been out there for about 6 laps now. So he's been gaining a lot of time on track on those fresh boots. And you can see there Neil Pearson still stationary as Burns goes flying through. And he is going to gain a huge amount of time over Neil Pearson now. But Neil Pearson is going to come out on those fresh tyres and really want to close that gap again. So it's going to be a interesting race to the end now. I think there's going to be a lot of different strategies at play here, Matt.
It will be, yeah. It will be, if it stays green, it'll be who can manage those tyres best. We'll have learned quite a bit from that first stint. So just need to manage those tyres and look after them and make sure they're strong at the end.
Yeah, you can't really bank on a caution in a situation like this. If you sort of go banking on a caution, it's guaranteed not to happen. It's one of those situations where you have to race to the race that you want to race, not sort of race to something that you think may happen, because chances are it may not happen.
Indeed. You see Pearson's now back eye up there in the sea of red cars. There's 3 of them. Oh, bit of contact there. You can see that difference that those fresh tyres make as Neil drives around the outside.
Around the outside of those 2 cars and around the inside.
Too. Yep. Like he's still about a second to a second and a half laps difference time. Lap difference time, yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah. It's a huge advantage when you're on those fresh tyres. It's as I say in Full Metal Motorsport, it's like a video game. You know, you're just able to fly through the inside, fly around the outside, just take any line you want to. But that's one of the things. Fresh tyres really makes the car feel so much better, and it can really help out in a race. 10 seconds the gap between Dwayne Burns and Neil Pearson, but up the front it is still very racy as Daniel Hederscheid still leads ahead of Andrew Dyson. So there's a sort of multitude of different races going on at the moment, and when all these cars decide to finally pull it down pit lane, well, it's going to be an interesting final few laps.
It is indeed, as we see Burns is now just unlapped himself. So he's just passed Hederscheid to get back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, it's a crucial move to make, because if that caution flag does fly, he's sitting in a spot where he can at least come down the lane, get himself sort of on equal footing to the rest of the drivers. Dave Douglas in the lane now. So 60 laps remaining. We are still very, very racy out there, and a lot of different strategies going on. And look, we're going to be interested to see when the rest of these cars come down the lane. You know, surely they cannot make it to the end without seeing the lane. But when they make that stop, that's going to be a crucial one.
Yeah, and now the question is, do they have the knowledge on how to, you know, put what tyre pressures to put in it to suit a short run? Because, you know, if they put it lap 100, they've only got to make those tyres last 50 laps.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You can go much harder on those tyres, much quicker, of course, and you can take advantage of them. Dyson in the lane, Phelps in the lane. So we're starting to see those pit stops happening. Jamie Nankervis having a good run out there. He's another car that hasn't stopped yet. He's up in 6th position, up 13 spots in the Black Arrows car, but he'll have to come down the lane soon. A late caution could really help Jamie here tonight. He would not be too adverse to seeing the yellow flag flying. Of course, we don't want to see that. We want to just see some pure racing out there tonight. So hopefully that is what we get. Urquio in the lane as well. So Daniel Hederscheid sticking it out in the lead. He's still out there. He's got 19 seconds between himself and Dwayne Burns, who is closing that gap very quickly indeed.
Yeah, and one other car, I believe, is Ben Henniker, who hasn't pitted either, but he's running in the 11th spot, currently 1 lap down.
Yeah, quietly moving along in the 2-1-3 and having a solid run. Another one of those Cobalt cars, and they're having some good results recently. Jai Schultz has not yet stopped either, so there's a few different strategies going on. And look, we usually see Jai coming in the lane pretty early. He's one of those drivers that decides to come down and try for an early stop, but tonight he is going for a very, very long run and seeing what he can do here tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can make the overcut work at all. Um, yeah, by sticking it out. As I say, there's only 4 cars now that have not pitted. The leader, Hideshite, Jai, Schultz, and currently in third, Nankervis in fifth. And I think Henniker's just coming to the pits now, so he's the fourth to last car to pit, yeah.
Yeah, a few brave souls sticking it out as long as possible, just hoping for a late caution. They should be able to make up a fair amount of this time, but it might be a little bit too little too late, at least for victory lane. So we'll have to see how that one pans out. Neil Pearson getting his lap back now, though. So he is back on the lead lap, finding himself up there as Lachlan Oakville, getting one of his laps back, as well as Hedershide pulls it into the lane, same as Jai Schultz. And I'd say that is about all they can do on a tank of gas. So 96 laps in the stint, 97 laps. So fairly long stint. Jamie Nankervis is sticking it out still. See how long the Black Arrow can do out there. The number 8 is currently sitting in 4th position, up 15 spots. But I can't imagine he's going to be out there too much longer before pulling it into the lane.
No, he might be just trying to get to a nice round number of 100.
Yeah,
he is running about 1.5 seconds off the leaders.
Get the frugal award for longest, least fuel used. There we go. Jamie Nankervis coming in for a nice short stop, just a top up of gas, some fresh tyres, and he'll be back out. So up in the lead, it is Dwayne Burns. He's got 5 seconds ahead of Neil Pearson. Pearson closing that gap down on those fresher tyres. He's got tyres that are some 7 laps fresher than Dwayne Burns. So that's closing up. Andrew Dyson in 3rd position. He is flying at the moment. He's got Dave Douglas with him as well. So the race is very much on. And, well, there are quite a few people in a position where they could get victory tonight.
Yeah, I've just put up the graphic for their last lap time. We see Dyson just dropped into the 22.7. Phelps dropped into a 22 range as well. And Hideshide is 22. Caution.
Caution flag is out. As Ben Henniker is facing the wrong direction. And it looks like it is the 2-1-3 of Ben Henniker, unfortunately, in the Cobalt car. He went for a longer stint. He'd just come in for some fresh boots. And I wonder if he just got caught out a little bit on those slightly fresher tyres, being a little bit cold and just catching him out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I've done that a few times. Exact same thing.
Such an easy little mistake, and very lucky for Jai Schultz there.
Yeah.
That is the crucial thing of holding your brake in a position like that, because if that brake was not held, we would have had a big accident there.
He just exited the corner a little bit low, and that just got it to fishtail, and then just, couldn't recover it. And then we see Phelps come through here. Jai Schultz and Daniel Hideshide as well. So now it's going to mix things up a bit.
It is indeed. Dwayne Burns decides to stay out on his older tyres. Ruben Phelps decides to stay out. Daniel Hideshide decides to stay out. Dyson, Douglas, Pearson, all in the lane.
That might be one of those ones where you just do the opposite of what the leader does. Really, tough for Burns, because he comes in the lane, everyone else probably stays out.
He's actually pulled it into the lane now, so coming in just a lap late there. So maybe just missed the lane that first time round.
Phelps has stayed out there. I can understand Hideshide staying out there. He's only got 6 laps on those tyres, and we've been under caution for a couple of laps now, so he's only realistically done maybe 3 laps at pace on those. So I can understand him doing that. Burns is going to drop a lot of spots here.
Yeah, it's going to drop Burns behind Matty Ray, so he's going to drop down to 7th, I think. Matty Ray staying out, I think, on tyres. No, he's coming into the lane now as well. He got the lucky dog position, so So yeah, that's going to really drop Burns down a few spots. But we've seen that car having some really good pace, and look, would not go awry to say that car is still in contention tonight.
No, no, it'll be a just over a 40 lap run, so he's definitely not out of it. That's for sure. Um, Number of cars, I believe, might have taken the wave around as well, or going to take the wave around.
Yeah, I think a fair few cars are in a position where they'll get the wave round. They're sort of Riley Curtis, Norman Clark, Lachlan Oakway, Josh Carroll Walden, Brenton Henderson. They are all going to get the wave around, I think. Jai Schultz is in the unenviable spot of being in the first car a lap down now, so he's going to stay a lap down on this restart. But
Yeah,
if we
he's
see another
trapped.
caution come out, then could find himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's just worked out unfortunate as a result of going long on the first stint. He's dropped enough positions that he's been caught trapped behind the or trapped a lap down. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but he just needs to keep the position of being the first car one lap down, and if there's another caution, he can get back on the lead lap.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've probably now that we've seen one caution, I think we might see some more because 44 laps to go. Naturally, everyone's going to be a bit more aggressive.
Oh, cautions breeding cautions? No, no such thing. We will see how this one goes. Pace car lights are out. 44 laps remaining here tonight at Richmond for this round 22 of 36 here of the Cup. And oh, what's happened? There's a delayed yellow. So
must be because of the wave around cars.
Yeah, something. Luckily, I think everybody sort of got relatively unscathed. Neil Pearson just had a little bit of a bump to Reuben Phelps.
Yeah, I think Neil was like, go, 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 and didn't realise.
Got caught out a little bit. Luckily, they sort of all did a good job of actually of sort of not getting caught with that one, because it would have been very easy to have an accident in a situation like that, because you really do focus on that restart, and it would be so easy to accidentally just to clip the car. So anyway, back at it now, to the restart zone we go. Green here at Richmond.
Yeah, I was expecting Phelps to get the jump early because he was on those older tyres. So no surprise there. Oh, Neil's going to go around.
Oh, Pearson's going around and he loops it. Neil Pearson has gone around. He's managed to just not get caught by anybody else. Whew.
So that was fortunate that we had the camera on Neil at the time. Curse of the camera.
Yeah, I'm sure Neil won't be too happy with that. But,
apologies, Neil.
Let's just see that their cold tyres just went a little bit too low, just went down a little bit too low here at Richmond. And there's a lot of marbles down there on cold tyres that won't stick, and just came unstuck there for Neil Pearson. And one of the Cobalt cars got very, very lucky to avoid that one. And as we're saying, Matt, there is always a good chance of a caution breeding a caution. Heddershide in the lane, so he's going to chuck on some fresh tyres now.
Of course, that'll mean Jai Schultz will get the lucky dog as well. He took to the inside lane there just to get out of the way. So good job by everybody there. Neil locking it down, not doing any damage other than his tyres, which I don't know if he's going to come in and grab a fresh set of tyres.
He has indeed.
Yep.
So Riley Curtis, Norman Clark, Lachlan Oakway, Brenton Henderson, Daniel Heddershide, Joshua Carroll Walden, all in the lane for fresh tyres, and they are all on the lead lap now.
Yeah, those are all the wave around cars. Of course, when you took the wave around, there would be not enough time to come in and get tyres. So they would have been hoping for this quick caution, and they got it. So now Riley Curtis and co will just come in and grab those fresh tyres, and they're all back on the lead lap. They've all got fresh tyres. They're all fueled up to the end, so they can go for it.
Yeah, this could be very fortuitous indeed. You've got to say, Reuben Phelps, he's got 20 laps on those tyres now. Many of them were under pace car conditions, but the rest of those cars that sort of did the restart, their tyres will come up to temperature a lot quicker this time around. So Reuben's not going to have the same. He's not going to be able to get the jump as much on those slightly older tyres. So we'll have to see how this restart goes for the number 6 SRM machine, of course. And well, he'd dearly love to get that victory next to his name and get himself absolutely locked into the chase. He's leading the points at the moment, but he has not got the W next to his name, so he's not completely locked in, but it is looking good for points positions. Lachlan Urquhart, of course, just behind him with Maddie Ray. The three SRM cars having a heck of a season on points this year. David Douglas and Joshua Carroll-Walden, they're in that sort of danger position of 9th and 10th. Again, they would sorely love to get a victory next to their name just to be completely locked in and secured. But yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's again, it's not the easiest thing to do. And now look at who's on the front row once again. He got pole position. He didn't take that start. He started down the back of the field, got caught out a little bit there, but worked his way up to the front. Same as Ruben Phelps. Both of these cars started way down the order, and both of them are on the front row.
Yeah, it's only taken Dyson 112 laps to get back up to that front row, where he was supposed to start from.
Yeah, it's just 112 laps, nothing much. It's taken longer than we expected, in honesty. Solid run from both of these drivers tonight. They've worked their way through the field nicely on a track that's not the easiest to overtake. They have definitely shown it is possible. Dwayne Burns, he's got very lucky with this caution as well. So he's up in 3rd position. He's just behind on that second row with Dave Douglas. So that late call for tyres, it's not really hurt him too much. So pace car's going to pull in this time round. We're going to go back to racing. 37 laps here at Richmond. Close your eyes, folks, because it's about to get spicy.
Watch for Phelps to jump early too on those old tyres.
Into the restart zone we go. Gets away nicely. Phelps gets a decent restart there. Pulls up a nice gap ahead of Dyson. Dyson getting away nicely too. Burns losing a couple of spots up on the high line. Drops down behind Maddie Ray as they get through turn 1. It gets a bit tight in the background, but they all look to have made it through this time round. Nobody pointing in the wrong direction. It's Ruben Phelps in the lead with Dyson just behind him. Dave Douglas and Maddie Ray. That's our top 4 at the moment. Daniel Henscheid in 5th.
All looking pretty good.
3 wide there between Riley Curtis, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Lachlan Urquhart, and they somehow make it work.
Neil Pearson's starting to really carve his way through too. Up to 10th already.
Yeah, I think the red is basically the colour of Pearson's rage at the moment as he's trying to work his way up to the front as Dyson makes a move for the lead now down on the inside of Ruben Phelps. And those slightly fresher tyres are going to be a godsend right now as Dyson takes the lead here at Richmond. Dave Douglas putting all the pressure he can on Ruben right now. Ruben doing a great job of keeping himself up there. Slightly older tyres, of course, but they haven't done much race running.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just a little bit distracted. I'm just seeing the timing data's all gone to hell.
Ah, yes. I get a feeling something just happened with iRacing because I got a thing saying tech failure, and it sort of just caught my eye a little bit. I wonder if that's just affected our live timing. So we apologise about that.
Looks like we're not going to have any live timing, so we'll just have to go clean screen, I think.
Yeah.
Got last lap time data, that's good, but we just don't have any live gaps.
No, we've got the positions at least, so that's something. We apologise about that. It's a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, very weird. Alright. Let's try and catch back up where we were.
So up the front, Dave Douglas is putting all the pressure he can on the 06 of Ruben Phelps as Lachlan Urquhart's going to lose it. Does he save it? He does indeed. How did Lockie not have a bigger accident there? Great save by Urquhart. Absolutely drifting it like a dirt car through turns 1 and 2. Really big slide job there for Lockie, and great save indeed. That thing I thought was going around for a few moments, but somehow he kept it there, put the power down just to avoid the wall. Absolute perfect drift there. Somehow saves it, but keeps himself in the race, but unfortunately loses a lot of positions. Meanwhile, Dave Douglas is looking to make the pounce on Ruben Phelps right now. The 10 goes underneath the number 6. Looking to make the move, but Phelps doing a good job of keeping that position locked down, trying his best to stay up there. Meanwhile, Maddie Ray and Daniel Hederscheid fighting just behind. Little bit of contact between Douglas and Phelps. Douglas just saves it in the nick of time. Ooh.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to go into those barrels, didn't it?
That was looking sketchy. Yeah, that was a heck of a save from Douglas, because that was looking like it was race over there for a couple of moments. And
yeah.
Great job by everybody else behind.
Many cars ended up stuck in those yellow barrels on the entry of the pit lane, myself included at times.
Yeah, it's very easy to make that mistake, and those barrels are so unforgiving. They will really, really wreck your race easily. But luckily, people made it through there and just survived. A little bit further back, Neil Pearson trying to work his way up, just makes contact with the wall, racing with Dwayne Burns and Joshua Carroll-Walden. Burns lost a couple of spots here, and he's kind of hope he can make his way a little bit further up the field again. Looks like his short run pace is not quite as good as some of those around him, but still keeping himself inside the top 10 here at Richmond. Meanwhile, Dyson is about 0.6 of a second in the lead over Ruben Phelps, who is defending that second place with all he has got. It's a Kiwi fight now between Hederscheid and Phelps as they fight for P2 here at Richmond. The race is very much going on.
Looks like Hederscheid's going to get down the inside now. Now he's got 25 laps to try and chase down Dyson at the front.
Yeah, Daniel Hederscheid wanting to get another victory next to his name. He's got one so far this season, and he would surely love to get a second next to his name, get another W there, and really show that he can take it to them in the chase this season. Meanwhile, behind us, a lot of hungry cars trying to get there. Daniel, as we've got Ruben Phelps making way a little bit. Matty Ray going down the inside and moving his way up into third. And I say Ruben didn't make it too hard for his teammate there.
Yeah, Matty Ray having a good run in third.
Yeah, he's trying to chase down those two at the front and could do that as well. We are getting pretty quickly to the end of the race. 21 laps to go, so it is quickly coming to the end of tonight's action. Andrew Dyson in the lead, 1.15 seconds ahead of Daniel Hederscheid. Matty Ray 1.85 behind the leader as well, so top three covered by just 2 seconds. Very much race on. Single mistake can see you dropping back very quickly.
Burns is stuck around about 7th spot at the moment, so hopefully in 21 laps there'll be enough time for him to charge back up to the front there.
Yeah, keep an eye for Dave Douglas as well. I'm sure he will want to work his way through the field and get himself up to the front as well, and just battle his way up there and maybe get close to Ruben Phelps as well, just to say, yeah, hello. That was a bit of a moment before. I'm here again. So 18 laps to go. We are quickly coming to the end as Neil Pearson looking to make a move there on Ruben Phelps up into 4th spot. Pearson goes, recovering from that spin. Brought us a second caution, managed to get away relatively unscathed, and is now charging his way up through the field. Matty Ray is going to be defending that 3rd place finish. I'm sure he would dearly love to get a podium finish tonight in the SRM machine. The Mobile Breaker Mechanical SRM team would be very happy with that indeed. But 2 spots higher would be even nicer.
Yeah, another good finish from Matty Ray. Be a nice, good points haul, being one that that line where he's in by points at the moment into the final 10 rather than in by wins.
Yeah, a little bit more security would be nice. It's that thing of getting yourself in with wins. It just gives you that little bit of extra security. You can just relax a little bit, of course, and just take it, not take it easy for the rest of the year, but just not have that little bit of anxiety to worry about as well. But he is looking good to get himself into the chase, and well, we just know how relentless Matty Ray can be at getting good consecutive finishes in the points. He could be in a really good position for this year's chase contention.
Oh, Headshot just got a little piece of the wall there, but it's not too bad.
Well, you gotta kiss the wall sometimes. It just shows you're pushing. If you're not willing to go out and just give the wall a little tiny rub now and again, you're not pushing hard enough. That's what they say, isn't it?
I believe so. I usually just hit the wall without trying.
yeah, that's the problem. I tend to do it, but take a huge bite out of the wall, and then that really doesn't work at all. So just a little soft kiss, not a huge bite out of it. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, skill level's not good enough for that for myself.
No, even when I'm driving slow, I hit the wall. Good recovery from JCW too, by the way. 6th spot at the moment. Oh,
yeah, 9 positions from the start, but he's about to really come under pressure from Dwayne Burns and Dave Douglas as well. So they are putting the pressure on him at the moment as they come across the line here, and it's Burns ahead by a nose as they come in to the corner.
Yeah, I think JCW had really good short run pace, but just not anything in the long run. He really dropped a lot in that long run, but yeah, having those cautions at the end of the short runs really helped him.
Yeah, it looks like the 35 doesn't quite have the long run pace, but the short run pace is there, and this is exactly what needs as Dave Douglas goes for a slide underneath JCW. Door to door there, really pushing hard as they go 3 wide here at Richmond. Burns just saves it by an inch there, but he's going to lose a couple of spots. He's going to lose time there. Good save for sure, but Dave Douglas making the jump, still battling it out between himself and JCW. That was a frantic couple of moments for sure. Some great racing there, and look, good to see everybody getting away relatively unscathed.
There's Brenton Heston having a good run as well with 9th spot. It's behind Burns there.
It's been a solid run for SRM tonight. All of their cars inside of the top 10 at the moment. So, sorry.
Lockie's
3 of their
trying
cars.
to get in the 10.
Yeah, Lockie's just dropped out of it, sorry, after that slide. But he's sitting in a decent spot as well, fighting it out with Riley Curtis, and could be a really strong finish for the team up front. Dyson is keeping a healthy lead over Heddershide. Maddie Ray's keeping a healthy lead over Pearson. Ruben Phelps is keeping a decent run in there on those older tyres as well, ahead of JCW. So the front sort of spots are relatively stable at the moment. It starts to get a little bit more chaotic a bit further back.
Yeah, that top 10 looks to be fairly settled at the moment. I don't think... Maybe the only position that might be under challenge is the 3rd spot. Pearson might be able to get on the back of Matty Ray before this is done.
Yeah, you can't discount the DPR cars. They've been really pulling out the stops this season and having a great run so far. Definitely got the pace underneath them as the battle goes back between Dave Douglas and JCW, and it looks like Dave Douglas has managed to make the move as all around Dave Douglas goes. Is this going to bring out the caution flag? Might not, because Dave's on the inside there. He's just had a little bit, I think Dave had a bit of a slide underneath JCW, got a little bit loose on the exit, And unfortunately, Burns just caught the rear of him, sent Dave around, and he's lost a whole heap of positions there. Unfortunate for Mr. Double D.
Oh yeah, just steps sideways, just enough to slow down, and Burns unfortunately gives him a bit of a hit. And sends him down through the grass.
Just kept it out of the wall and kept it up to speed, so the caution flag didn't fly. Good situation awareness there by Dave Douglas, showing a bit of that rallycross skill, a bit of that road racing speciality of Mr. Dave Douglas there as he saves it going across the grass. Meanwhile, Andrew Dyson coming up with the white flag coming out very, very soon. He has got a healthy lead up the front ahead of Daniel Hederscheid and Matty Ray. And that's going to be I think, probably not going to see too much action up the front when the white flag comes out, as they have gapped themselves nicely at the moment. All it will take, though, is one little mistake, and you could easily find yourself dropping back. Round we come for the final time tonight, and Andrew Dyson starting from pit lane. At least we'll get to ask what happened to him for this one and find out what happened there and why he had to start from pit lane. But he's going to come across the line and take victory here tonight at Richmond. Daniel Hederscheid comes home in second, with Matty Ray in third. Neil Pearson comes home fourth. Ruben Phelps in fifth. JCW sixth. Seventh for Brenton Henderson. Dwayne Birds eighth. Ninth for Lachlan Oakway, and Jai Schultz in 10th position.
We'll go for the results. We'll see if the data's going to be correct or not. Oh, the data's correct there, though, so yeah. That's interesting.
And the timing's correct as well, so something's working there. Oh, dear.
We'll just watch the victory bird out if he's going to do one. Jumping the gun there.
A very nice looking donut there from Mr. Dyson. Not drawing any lewd images tonight. That's always good to see. Sonoma. So it's Andrew Dyson taking victory here tonight. Doesn't look like he did much, but he had to start from pit lane and made his way up to the front again and got himself the victory. Daniel Hederscheid up 14 positions tonight. Mistake free for himself after last weekend's miscalculation. Matty Ray comes home in third for SRM, a strong night for the team with Neil Pearson in fourth. Ruben Phelps comes home fifth, up 13 positions as well. A big move for him tonight. JCW recovers well up into sixth spot with Brenton Henderson seventh. Dwayne Burns comes home in eighth. Lachlan Oakway manages to bring the SRM team into the top 10 in ninth, with Jai Schultz home in 10th position. Riley Curtis comes home 11th, with Dave Douglas in 12th, Norman Clark 13th, Alexander Sheridan 14th, 15th for Jamie Nankervis, Tristan Koch in 16th, Ben Henker in 17th, 18th for Kobe Jordan, Shane Bowen in 19th, Christopher Tomlin 20th, Derek Jacobs 21st, and Phil Otto, our only retirement tonight, unfortunately taking a hit off the wall early on.
So lots of interesting strategies in that one, wasn't there? Old
Absolutely,
tyres, new tyres, and then they got all mixed up with the cautions near the end.
Yeah, it made for a nice, interesting race with that whole mix of strategies. And, you know, it was nice to see some fresh faces up the front battling away for the lead as well. Great little bit of racing at the end as well. So plenty of action here tonight at Richmond. And, yeah, nice little race, that one. It went very well. So let us start off with our third place finisher for SRM Australia. It is Mr. Matty Ray. Let's bring up Mr. Sheen himself, the 83. It's Matty Ray. Matty, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here at Richmond.
Hi, Carl. How you going? Yeah, that was some bloody hard work, eh?
Yeah, you sort of you kept yourself nice and sort of up there, and then all of a sudden finding yourself with a late caution, battling for a podium spot.
Yeah, I got a little bit lucky with when the yellow fell, sort of thing, because I thought I might have pitted a bit early. I wanted to hang out later, but the right front fell off it, and I thought, oh bugger, I'll come in now. And yeah, it all sort of worked out. And then at the end, I made the right adjustment, sort of thing, and had Neil in the mirrors. I didn't think I really got the adjustments all that good, but yeah, no, it seemed to come in real nice at the end there. So no, it was good fun, great fun.
Absolutely. Some solid stuff tonight from yourself and the team as well. Great to see all of your boys up inside the top 10.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. We're sort of. I think we're starting to get our head around these adjustments a little bit better now. And yeah, we're putting them to use by the look. So it's yeah, we've had a real good night, all of us in the top 10. So yeah, it's pretty nifty.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to see the SRM cars up there, and it's always nice to see you up there. And look, it's good news as well for the fight to get into the chase as well, into the playoffs this season, because it's looking pretty good for yourself, for Ruben and Lachlan this year.
Yeah, well, what do we got left? 4 races now. So one of the 2 top points getters are sort of safe at the minute. So it is sitting pretty good for us. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Absolutely. Look, an absolute solid job tonight, Mr. Maddie Ray. Well done indeed. And Mr. Shane keeping it clean once again. Congratulations. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout outs, go for it.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, the usual list. We got Johnny Larber down at Mobile Break. We got Danny from the Hurley's Made of Auckland. Murphy's Mitre 10. Who else we got? We got a couple of charities on board with alopecia and Tourette's syndrome, and I'm forgetting one of the sponsors. But it's all right. I'll make.
Did you go Murphy's Mitre 10?
Yeah, I got Mitre 10. Oh, Moondog. He does our t-shirts. He's a legend, that bloke. So yeah, can't forget Moondog. But yeah, you guys were putting on the stream each week and putting all that work in. It must be bloody hard hours. So no, thanks to all of you guys and yeah, everyone that raced, and yeah, it was a good night.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Maddie Ray. Congratulations on P3 here tonight at Richmond, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
I hope so. Cheers, boys.
Maddie Ray there for SRM. Next up for Natari, it is the 035 Daniel Heddershire. Daniel, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 here at Richmond.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad a race. Couldn't pull away the win, but I've had some pretty strong pace. So yeah, I'll take a P2 after last week anyway.
Absolutely. Look, a bit of a confidence booster over the not so much fun run last time out, but you had some really good pace tonight, up 14 positions from your starting spot.
Yeah, that first run, the longer I went, the better the car felt, and I thought, oh, I'm going pretty well here. I seem to be the fastest car on track. Until I looked in my rearview mirror and seen Tyson's bumpers sitting right there, so I knew it was going to be hard to beat him. And so realistically, I think no matter without the yellows or not, I don't think I could have probably got the win. I don't know. It would have been interesting, I think, at the end there. But yeah, no, I'll take a P2 around here.
Well, we saw with those cautions coming out, you decided to stay out on the old tyres for that first restart. And then we quickly found ourselves back under the caution flag and you jumped in for a fresh set of tyres. Did you just sort of go, yeah, they're not feeling right?
Yeah, I was regretting my choice pretty fast when I realised there was only about 6 of us that could pit and put new tyres on. So I thought, yeah, I'll go whack some on. What's the word? And I could see that me and Ruben probably weren't going to be able to hold off that pack. So I thought the worst I'm going to do is go down to about P5 or 6. Take the gamble and yeah, I obviously pay it off.
Oh, absolutely. The gamble paid off very well tonight. Of course, we are coming up thick and fast to the playoffs this season, and it's they're getting a decent finish tonight must help boost the confidence a little bit going into that season.
Yeah, I'd feel a bit more confident if I could beat these DPR boys, but they're sort of still a bit too far away for me. But we're getting closer. But we'll see. Put a bit more time in and see if we can start giving them a bit more of a hard time.
Just remember, turn right when you're going through the corner and they're on the outside. Look, congratulations tonight, Daniel. A really strong showing here tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon. But before I let you go, the usual thing, the love, the shout out to sponsors and people in general.
Yeah, shout out once again to the Natari boys. Good racing with everyone. Everyone tonight we were close to getting the green flag race, so it was a good fun race. Growth Odyssey, Fully Flawed, and Turbo Alpha Japan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Daniel. Well done indeed, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Cheers, guys.
Daniel Heddershide there for Natari. Solid run from himself tonight. And finally, for DPR, it is the man that started in pit lane. It's Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyson, welcome back to the booth, mate. What can stop you at the moment?
Oh man, there's plenty of. I mean, starting from pit lane would have helped, that's for sure. I mean, it was looking like, Dwayne was pretty strong there when he had that big leader with like 45 to go, I think. So yeah, I mean, that certainly would have put something in my tracks.
Absolutely. So, what happened to see you down in pit lane?
So I jumped onto the grid, and then I thought, oh no, I better just double check I've got the the right setup, because I changed the tires and the spring perch slightly in the warm up session. So I thought I'll just quickly go back and just reset it and just reset all my stuff. And then for whatever reason, that was like with 40 seconds to go. And then for whatever reason, it's just decided that it was ready to go. And I'm like, what? I only spent like 15 seconds looking at my stuff. So I had to start in pit lane, which is, too bad, so sad. That's got going, had to go flat out, had some good fun passes. Some dudes were accommodating, some dudes battled, which was cool both ways. So that was good fun.
No, absolutely. We saw you having to race your way through pit lane. It's nice to get an answer to our question as well. Obviously, lots of racing out there tonight, but we're sort of watching you carve your way through the field, and you just were taking it so nice and easy through there. You weren't putting too much pressure on anybody. You're just able to keep that car in a really good spot tonight.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to, you don't want to, I don't think I really wanted a yellow to come out, and I certainly don't want to fence anybody or spin anybody for it. So yeah, I wasn't about to go out there and be like, too aggressive and stuff. And that also helps look after your stuff too. So that's kind of what the goal was there, I guess.
No, it paid off really well. And look, that sort of final couple of cautions there, it must have helped a little bit in the old race.
Yeah, definitely that caution. Like I said, with Dwayne being kind of, or Rowdy, as we like to call him, being so far up down the road sort of thing. I was just sort of setting myself up to kind of have a look and work out, whether if I was going to catch him, sort of when it was going to be, and how hard I needed to go, or how fast or how hard I needed to try, sort of thing. If it was even possible. And then the yellow came out, and then I'm not sure what happened, but it looked like he missed the entry or something. I don't know, that's something you have to ask Dwayne, but he was looking pretty good. I mean, obviously he was leading the race before the pit stops, and he was well out in front. And after the pit stops, obviously with that little undercut he had, so who knows what would have happened.
No, absolutely. Well, it has worked out well for you again. I mean, it's sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Unfortunately, you're good and lucky. You're one of those drivers that just has it all. Congratulations tonight, guys. So well done indeed. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout out. Please go for it.
Thanks, man. The lucky thing is a bit of a sort of running joke. I mean, I am a believer that you make your own luck, and like you can absolutely make your own bad luck too. And so I do that. I definitely have my own fair share of bad luck as well, so which I create for myself. But anyway, yeah, just thank everyone for doing the race, putting on the league, and doing the broadcast. Everyone for jumping in for a race tonight, and thanks to Simrigs for buying all my gear and all the rest of it. South Wales, Benmax, Neil for the paints, as always, and looking forward to next week.
No, absolutely. And look, I know that it can hit sometimes. I mean, we saw that last night. Being beaten by myself must have been painful.
No, that was all good. I mean, I knew, I think both Josh and I, when we pitted there with like 40 laps to go in the Xfinity race and took our last set, that it was a risk. And it turned out that it was a risk. It wasn't fruitful. So that's how I guess.
Oh, well, better luck next time. You'll have me next time, Di, so don't worry.
I hope so.
Congratulations tonight, mate. And I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Andrew Dyson there for DPR, another really solid run. And absolutely, Matt, look, you do make your own luck in motorsport sometimes. And he is very good at doing that, just keeping the car in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, you've got to be in it to win it, right? You just got to, keep your car clean and give yourself every opportunity to get a good finish. I mean, look at JCW. You know, he had a dropped way right down, but he just kept in it, kept fighting, and got a little bit of luck and stayed in, and you know, he's in the top 6 finish as well.
No, absolutely. Look, we are done and dusted here for, well, almost another week. Sort of, I always find that I end my cup is sort of the end of my week for my sim racing stuff, and then I start a new on Saturday night. But we are done and dusted for tonight here at Richmond. But we have more action coming up for you. On Sunday night, we have the V8s coming to you for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, Matt.
We do, yeah. We're Homestead Miami championship final race. I haven't seen the points, but I think Raymond Yago has a pretty solid lead. So, but yeah, I think the battle for the other places is still pretty close and intense as well. And
Absolutely.
then of course next week we head to Michigan Speedway for the Cup race on Thursday. So for 100 laps around Michigan, I always it's one of my favourite tracks. So it'd be good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. A really fun track, Michigan. So we hope you can all join us there for that. Is a big thank you for joining us here tonight. Always a pleasure to have you all in the chat as well. And always helps the old algorithm, you know, the usual subscribe and stuff like that. Hate saying it, but it does help the channel. But a big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight at Performance eStream. And of course, a big thank you to Mr. Matt Hunter doing all the hard work in the background. From myself, Carl Wilkinson with you as well. We'll wish you a good night and see you again soon.